Book of Heaven. Volume 10. 16 May to 6 September 1911. Page 30–35. May 16, 1911. Jesus does not want to confound the enemies of the Church, and he cries over the painful wounds which are in her body. I was praying blessed Jesus to confound the enemies of the Church, and my always lovable Jesus, in coming, told me, "My daughter, I could confound the enemies of the Holy Church, but I don't want to. If I did so, who would purge my Church? The members of the Church, and especially those who occupy positions and heights of dignity, have their eyes dazzled, and they blunder a great deal, reaching the point of protecting the false virtuous and oppressing and condemning the true good. This grieves me so much, to see those few true children of mine under the weight of injustice. Those children from whom my Church must rise again and to whom I am giving much grace to dispose them to this. I see them placed with their backs to the wall, and bound to prevent their step. This grieves me so much, that I feel I am all fury for their sake. Listen, my daughter, I am all sweetness, benign, clement and merciful, so much so, that because of my sweetness I enrapture hearts. But I am also strong, as to be able to crush and reduce to ashes those who not only oppress the good, but reach the point of preventing the good which they want to do. Ah! You cry over the secular, and I cry over the painful wounds which are in the body of the Church. These grieve me so much as to surpass the wounds of the secular, because they come from the side from which I did not expect it, and induce me to make the secular rail against them. May 19, 1911. Confidence captures Jesus. Jesus wants the soul to forget about herself and to occupy herself with him alone. Continuing in my usual state, my always lovable Jesus made himself seen all afflicted, and I was around him, all intent on compassionating him, loving him, embracing him and consoling him, with all the fullness of confidence. And my sweet Jesus told me, "My daughter, you are my contentment." I like it this way, that the soul forgets about herself, about her miseries, and occupies herself only with me, with my afflictions, with my bitternesses, with my love, and she remains around me with all confidence. This confidence captures my heart and inundates me with so much joy that, just as the soul forgets all of herself for me, I forget everything for her, and I make her one single thing for me, and I reach the point of not only giving her, but of letting her take everything she wants. On the other hand, to the soul who does not forget everything for me, even her miseries, and who, if she wants to be around me, does so with all respect, with fear and without the confidence that captures my heart, as though wanting to be with me with fearful restraint and all circumspect. To this one I give nothing, and she can take nothing, because the key of confidence, of ease, of simplicity is missing. These are all necessary things in order for me to give, and for her to receive. And so, she comes with miseries, and with miseries she remains. May 24, 1911. What God is by nature, the soul is by grace. I was thinking of the incomprehensible greatness and wisdom of God, who, in giving his goods to us, does not decrease in anything. On the contrary, it seems that by giving, he acquires the glory that the creature gives him for having received the goods of the Lord. And blessed Jesus, in coming, told me, "My daughter, you too possess this quality, not in the body, but in the soul, which was communicated to you by my goodness." In fact, by trying to infuse good, virtue, love, patience, sweetness in souls, you lose nothing at all. On the contrary, by infusing them in others, if you see that they take advantage of them, you enjoy a greater satisfaction. So, that which you are by grace in your soul, I am by nature, and not only for the goods of virtues, but for all possible goods, natural, spiritual, and of any kind. June 7, 1911. Sorrow of Jesus because of the priests. Love that is hidden. Woe! Going through most bitter days of privation of my adorable Jesus, I was praying him to deign to come, and he came just like a flash and told me, "Love that is hidden. Woe!" Then, as I was praying him for the Church and for pity on many souls who become lost because they want to wage war against the Church, and for his ministers, Jesus added, "My daughter, do not afflict yourself. It is necessary that the enemies purge my church, and after they have purged her, the patience, the virtues of the good will be light for the enemies, and both one and the other will be saved. But at least do not permit that the faults of your ministers become known to the secular, otherwise they will afflict the church even more. And Jesus, my daughter, do not pray me, for I become indignant. I want this matter to come out. I can take no more, I can take no more. The sacrileges are enormous. By covering them, I would give them the field to commit greater evils. You will have patience in bearing my absence, you will do this as a heroine. I want to trust you, who are my daughter, while I occupy myself with preparing the scourges for the secular and for the priests." June 21, 1911. There is no sanctity if the soul does not die in Jesus. I was thinking of the celestial Mama, when she was holding my always lovable Jesus, lifeless, in her arms, of what she did, and of how she occupied herself with Jesus. And a light accompanied by a voice in my interior said, "My daughter, love acted powerfully in my mother. Love consumed her completely in me, in my wounds, in my blood, in my very death, and it made her die in my love. And my love, consuming her love and the whole of my mother, made her rise again to new love, that is, all from my love. So, her love made her die, and my love made her rise again to a life all in me, of a greater sanctity, and fully divine. Therefore, there is no sanctity if the soul does not die in me. There is no true life if she does not consume all of herself in my love." June 23, 1911. Love is not subject to death. There is no power or rights over love. As I was in my usual state, blessed Jesus came for just a little, and told me, "My daughter, love is not subject to death. There is no power, there are no rights over love. Love is eternal, and one who loves is eternal with me. Love fears nothing, doubts about nothing, and converts evils themselves into love. I myself am love, and I love so much one who loves me in everything and who does everything out of love, that woe to those who touch him. I will make them be burned by the fire of my terrible justice." July 2, 1911. Wherever love is, there is life. Without love, everything is dead. Continuing in my usual state, blessed Jesus came for just a little, and told me, "My daughter, wherever love is, there is life, and not human life, but divine life. Therefore, all the works, also good, which are not done out of love, are like a painted fire, which gives no heat, or like painted water, which quenches no one's thirst and which does not purify. Oh! How many painted or dead works are done also by persons consecrated to me. In fact, love alone is that which contains life. No other thing contains as much power to give life to all. Or rather, without love, everything is dead." September 6, 1911. One who pays attention to herself grows thin and emaciated. It continues almost always in the same way, that is, with most bitter privation and with silence. At most, he only makes himself seen, and at most, it is about usual things, therefore I do not write them. I remember that when I emit some laments about my state, he tells me in my interior, "My daughter, patience, do this as a stalwart, as a heroine. Courage, let me chastise for now, and then I will come as before." I also remember that, as I was concerned about my state, he told me, "My daughter, one who wants to pay attention to difficulties, to doubts, to herself, is like those fussy persons who feel disgust for everything, and instead of thinking about nourishing themselves, they think of the rubbish, even if it's not there, and therefore they grow thin, emaciated, and so they die." Some other little things, I don't remember well. Then, this morning, as I was outside of myself, I found baby Jesus in my arms, crying so very strongly because he heard that they wanted to cast him away from Italy. We made our way toward France, and they did not want to receive him, and my always lovable Jesus, crying, said, "Everyone drives me away, no one wants me, and I, forced by them themselves, will scourge them." In the meantime, I saw roads full of rocks, of fire, with great damage to the cities. Did you see? Let us retreat, my daughter, let us retreat. And so we retreated into my bed, and he disappeared. Then, after a few days, as I was praying him to placate himself because of the many scourges that one hears about, he told me, "My daughter, they treat me like a dog, and I will make them kill one another like dogs." Oh God, what heartbreak! Placate yourself, O Lord, placate yourself.